Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Javier, and I do want to kind of just dive right into what stocks I bought during the flash crash that we had on my SoFi account. I had some money just put to the side just for instances where the market would crash like this. So this wouldn't be the first time I've done this. During COVID, I had some money also put to the side and I bought a bunch of stocks when that happened, and thus far they've been doing pretty good. And same thing happened yesterday where people got hysterical and they just wanted to sell. Of course, there was like sentiment, negative sentiment of why it dropped. So the Bank of Japan being one, the jobs report being higher than expected, and I guess the third reason is pretty much related back to the Bank of Japan because hedge funds borrowed money from Japan essentially for 0%, and then they pretty much bought a bunch of stuff in the American market. And because Bank of Japan increased their interest rate, so the negative sentiment kicked in. So not to beat around the bush any longer, here are the stocks that I bought: SoFi, Tilray, Tesla, Robinhood, Extra Space Storage, Mercado Libre, Clover Health, Applied, Applied Digital Corporation. So I guess just jump into one. So SoFi, it's currently up by 0.53. Not that bad. I do think it has a lot of potential, especially with the implementation of their two new credit cards. Galileo being the underdog in their portfolio, I think other banks will use their platform to do transfers and wire transfers. So I do think it has a lot of potential. Tilray, it had killer earnings, and I don't know why it's even down this far. I am up 5%. So let's see, what price did I get it? So yesterday I picked it up at 172 and currently up 5%. Tesla, everybody knows about Tesla: humanoids, cars, power storage, even insurance. So it has a lot of things going for it. Currently, it has some negative sentiment because they delayed their robotaxi, and I believe they delayed the humanoid project as well. So for that reason, I think there's still potential for it to continue dropping down until they can prove themselves. But they are currently still profitable. Tesla stock, or sorry, the Tesla car itself is stunning, and all the technology inside of the car is amazing. If you've never sat in a Tesla before, I recommend you arrange a way to sit in one and kind of explore what's inside the cars. So the car alone, I think it's worth it. I think charging technology has to get better first as well before it goes into mass production. I think the charging has to definitely be faster. Uh, Robinhood is the next buy. It's my fourth biggest position in this account. So I bought Robinhood at 15.51 average price with 170 shares. It does have a market cap of 14.4 billion with a PE ratio of 112, which is actually really high. But I do think that Robinhood has a lot of potential, and that's why the PE ratio is high, because people are willing to pay a higher price for the potential that it's going to be growing a lot more. They recently allowed me to get the gold credit card, so I think that credit card alone will increase Robinhood's value. There are some negatives to it. For example, they disabled the 24-hour trading yesterday, which could potentially affect how much money they're making because they make money based off the trades that we make on Robinhood. The next one, Extra Space Storage. I really just like Extra Space Storage because I've used their services a lot, and they do have a insurance section to their business, and insurance is one of the higher yielding businesses out there. So Extra Space Storage, it has like a 90% fill rate, so it's only 10% vacant, which overall that's pretty good numbers. It does pay a pretty good dividend, 3.45% with a PE ratio of 41. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. It is profitable. It's doing well. I use their services a lot because due to my job, I do travel a lot, so I have to pay to store my stuff, my vehicles, and Extra Space Storage has been pretty good with it. Next one is Mercado Libre. They've pretty much, I can read the little description here. So it's pretty much Amazon for Central America or South America. Mercado Libre engages in the development of an online commerce platform with a focus on e-commerce and related services. It operates to the following geographical segments: Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, and other countries. Other countries segment refers to Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Panama, Peru, Bolivia, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, even Guatemala, Paraguay, Uruguay, and the United States of America. So its products provide a mechanism of buying, selling, and paying, as well as collecting general leads and comparing lists through e-commerce transactions. The company was founded by Marcos Eduardo Galperin on October 15, 1999. Wow, I was barely born. Anyways, so Mercado Libre is another high yielding one. They recently released their earnings report and they pretty much killed it as well. Like they did really good. P ratio is slightly on the higher end, and I also believe that's similar to Robinhood, where people are paying a higher price because they think the stock will continue doing better and better. The next one, Clover Health, it is currently at 187. They announced earnings yesterday, and they also did really well. They improved their MCR from like 77 to 71%. The lower the better. And they increased their premiums that they collect for insurance. And the next thing is their Clover Health, Clover Counter Health, Counterpart Health, which is their AI interface for primary care, and it's their electronic health record implementation. So that part alone has a lot of potential. I'd still have to listen to their earnings to make sure that there's nothing negative about it. The other good thing about the stock is that it has a market cap of 933 million. Comparing it to its competition, the closest competition is Oscar Health, and Oscar Health is currently at, let me see, I believe it's 5 billion that Oscar Health is at. Let's watch this one. Oh, okay, my bad. It's 3.9 billion. So compared to Oscar Health, Clover Health is still very undervalued, especially with their new Counterpart Health AI assistant. So the next one, Applied Digital, just very straightforward with this one. Warehousing for servers dedicated to artificial intelligence. So that alone has a lot of room to grow, especially if we're just going to continue using artificial intelligence. You're going to need the servers that can handle that type of demand. Of course, Palantir, I feel like I don't have to say much about Palantir. It killed earnings as well. It did great. The earnings report just grew, and then they increased their forecast. The other catalyst for this is maybe some kind of war, World War III, perhaps. I'm not sure, but it does have a lot of potential with their APIs and implementation for defense. Um, Nvidia, I feel like I don't have to say much about this one as well. I bought it at $99 and it's currently at 106. I bought 11 shares, which is not a lot. I'm not rich, but I know how to pick good stocks. Amazon, I mean, Amazon is just doing great. For a 1.7 trillion company with a PE ratio of 38 and doing well with AWS, their e-commerce as well, and their implementation of AI, I think it has potential. Neo, this one was kind of like a charity buy. Like, I prefer to buy Tesla. This one is just kind of like a freebie. It's just so cheap that I just could not buy it. As a matter of fact, I'm even down right now. So if I lose this money, I think it'll be okay. That's why it's so important to do your risk management. But because of their battery swapping, I do believe it will do good. But the negatives that I see about this is that even the battery swapping will turn into long lines to a point where they're going to have to continue spending more money to build the infrastructure to have more battery swapping locations. So that's just from a logical perspective. Their financials aren't that good. Oclo, this is a speculative play. They're not making any money. As a matter of fact, they're not expected to make any money until like 2030. But the reason I bought it is because of artificial intelligence and the demand that it requires for energy. Uh, and just that alone, nuclear power or nuclear fission reactors will provide a clean energy through design and development of fast fission power plants. It was founded by Jacob DeWitt and Caroline Cochran, and one of the people involved in this stock is Sam Altman, who also developed or helped develop ChatGPT. The next one, it's been my all-time favorite. I have other shares in other places, but Boston Scientific. Since I do work in healthcare, I see a lot of their products in play, and they just continue to innovate and come up with new projects and stuff. So I really like this stock. It has a PE ratio of $59, which is not that bad. It is slightly on the higher end for sure. I've seen as low as 5 on the PE, but on the medical side for sure, I think 59 should be around the average. Square Cash. Let me see. What can I say about this one? So they have Square Money or Block that you can use to send money, and they also offer financing to businesses. And that's one of the reasons I bought it. That's what kind of makes it different from all the other finance stocks. is their ease of implementation with businesses. So I don't know if you've seen the little pad that certain businesses would use where you can swipe your card. So it helps with that with businesses, and it helps with accounting for the businesses as well. So that's what differentiates it for me from other stocks such as Robinhood. So let's close this. Lemonade, the insurance business is a high yielding business usually. Lemonade, I think it has a lot to prove. They keep using a lot of money right now, but long term, with our population growing, I see a space for Lemonade. So they offer renters insurance, let me see, renters, homeowners, pet insurance, car insurance. So they have a lot of businesses within the insurance sector. So I do see it growing. So I don't want to make this video any longer. I realized I bought a lot of stocks yesterday. So Joby Aviation focus on electric vertical takeoff or eVTOL, and it still also has a lot to prove, but it is the one that has the most FAA certifications. So that's the reason I bought this one. The next one is Medtronic. I also see a lot of their products at work. The last product I saw was the pacemaker, especially the transvenous pacemaker for a patient that had a low heart rate or bradycardia. And we ended up taking them to the cath lab and placing a transvenous pacer until they can get another pacemaker, like a permanent pacemaker from Medtronic. So Medtronic has a lot to offer. I know they recently got approval for their diabetes sector as well. So diabetes is also another disease that has a lot of expenses along with it, and Medtronic is set to take advantage of some of that as well. Disney, a lot to say about Disney. So I guess Disneyland is one, and then their platform for watching TV, Disney Plus. They still have a lot of work to do with Disney Plus as well because their engagement, I believe, has dropped because they're not offering as many new movies and shows on their platform. But Disney Plus or Disneyland, I believe, has a lot of potential with their profit margins. Cognex, I've made a video about Cognex on YouTube, so make sure you watch that video as well and why I think Cognex is set to grow. And let's hit water stocks. I think this is the most undervalued water stock right now with a PE ratio of 13 and a market cap of 426. And one question I ask everyone is, why wouldn't you invest in a water stock? Like, who doesn't drink water? Who doesn't need water? So I just ask myself that question. I just make sure the stock is not wasting too much money. And what process are they using to come up with the water? Because there's so many methods to do that. Verizon, it pays a really good dividend, so I bought it. I don't use it personally. I actually have T-Mobile. I think T-Mobile stock is also a really good buy. I don't know the price right now, right on top of my head, but just kind of to keep this video short, I won't look it up. Rocket Lab, it has the Electron rocket where it sends satellites to space. It also has their satellite services sector where they build components for satellites and they help integrate other satellite companies into their rocket. The reason I believe it's not going up is because it has a lot to prove with its Neutron rocket. The Neutron rocket is supposed to be the renewable one that goes up into the atmosphere, and it comes back down, it lands, you load it back up, and then just send it back and forth. That, in theory, sounds perfect. You know, like, why would you waste all these parts just to send stuff into space? Why can't you just reuse it, right? The thing is, it's so hard to do that. So if it can pull that off, I can see Rocket Lab going to at least $50, at least. But again, it has a lot to prove. It could be a very good competitor to SpaceX, and if it can do that, then SpaceX has their money. They have to run and hide with the monies. Ennox is an X-ray company. They make them relatively cheap. So their business model essentially is that they will give an X-ray machine to the hospital or whatever company needs it, and they charge by the scan that happens, and then they do the maintenance on the X-ray machines. It's a different type of X-ray machine as well. Like, they use a cooling method versus a heating method that's currently in the market right now, and which heating a CT scanner and an X-ray machine, sorry, a CT scanner, takes a lot of energy compared to cooling a cooling method. So look into them. They definitely have a lot of potential, just that alone, and the fact that they have a database of radiologists. So if you're a hospital, you can essentially consult with Ennox or Nenox, and you can send your scans to their providers or their radiologists, and they'll read those radiology reports, and they'll make the diagnoses based off the radiology reports. The next one is Boston Omaha. This one is in the ad business, but it has an asset management business. So many other things. Let's see. It's a holding company which engages in the business of billboards, surety insurance, insurance brokerage activities. It operates through the insurance and billboard segments. The insurance segment refers to commissions from the firm's surety brokerage and business. The billboard segment includes billboard acquisition and rentals. The company was founded on August 10, 2009. The reason I added this one to my portfolio was due to the fact that they were comparing it to Berkshire Hathaway. It has a lot to prove before we can say that, but I do see a lot of potential in their asset management business because they have other businesses under there. For example, Breezeway, which is a property management software, and I think that little business alone will grow. And of course, the S&P 500 I bought. I bought it at 474, and it's at 485, and I've made a 2.2% gain. The average P ratio of the S&P 500 is 26. And the last one, it's Figs. The reason I buy Figs, for one, it's profitable, and it's a 983 million business. I do think that it has potential with their scrubs and all the accessories as well that they have for healthcare professionals. And I personally really like the comfort of the Figs. They do feel like a version of Lululemon. They are a little pricey. At least that's the compliment. That's the negative that I hear from colleagues at the hospital. But for the most part, I personally really like it because of the new little segments they're adding with their accessories. So let me know what you think. I am trying to keep this video short. These are my newer positions that I bought when the market dropped. I do hope that they do well. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked it. Let me know which stocks you bought when the stock market crashed. Comment down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you.